What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, I want to break down for you the Irving Marathon on March 30th. Just a couple weeks ago, I ran the Irving Marathon here in Irving, Texas, which is just about 30 minutes south of Dallas or so, 20 to 30 minutes. And the reason I want to break this down for you is because I learned three specific things through it that I want to share. And this was a part of my build up to the Jersey City Marathon, which is up and coming in actually a week from today as I'm recording this. But by the time this is probably out, it's probably already happened. But essentially, the Irving Marathon, I ended up doing it as my last big workout in my sub 254 prep. And the reason I actually did a marathon as opposed to like a 21-mile workout just that is because I work for Steve Weatherford and his ministry Champions in Christ, and we had a group of guys coming into town for that marathon specifically, and so I did that kind of like I started with the guys and hung out with them after, but used the marathon to do my big workout, and I'm so glad I did for a couple of reasons because I think it was great always to simulate race day. It's great to get reps and experience because experience is totally undefeated. Like, I've never taken any really running courses or things like that, but I've learned from coaches and I've learned from actually doing these races. And I think that there's no better way to learn from the mistakes of others and then also learn from your own mistakes. And so I've just learned so much through that. So this marathon was in Irving. It was rather flat. It was pretty flat. Essentially, I had this workout which I'll share with you right now. Essentially, I started out with 4 miles at easy pace. So for me, easy pace is anywhere from about 8 to 9 minute mile. I was a little excited, so I was doing like 7:30s for that. Then I had 6 times 2 miles at 6:35 pace with an 800-meter float. A float is like still it's a recovery set, but it's like 30 or so seconds slower than your working set. So this was at 7:10 pace. And then I had 2 miles easy to finish it off. So that was 21 miles. And then I had just planned to run the additional 5 miles just at an easy pace. And so um, that was my workout for that day. And I want to break down three specific things that I learned through it. So because we had that group of guys coming in town for this marathon, a lot of them I had coached to run their first marathon. Um, we decided to get together with them the night before, and we went to this place called the Russian Banya here in Dallas. It's like the hottest sauna in all of the country, and it was a lot of fun. But one thing I realized was it was definitely not the move the night before, and so for you, don't go to a sauna, a sauna house the night before. It feels good. Maybe go 2, 3 days before. But what happened was we went there and I felt good. I felt loose after it. But I think come race day, which was like just less than 12 hours later, I still was a little bit dehydrated. So the sauna took it out of me in that way. And then also we were at this Russian bathhouse place and we ordered food, but right at the time our food was coming, we were leaving. And by this point, it was already 8 o'clock. And so I ate some at home, but I really didn't get a really solid dinner in me. And that is just I know better for sure. I know way better than to make a mistake like that. But just being with everyone, I got caught up and forgot. And so that's a lesson. I guess there's two lessons in one there with the banya is number one, don't go to a sauna before the day before a marathon, the night before. I wouldn't get a massage the night before. Like, do that stuff leading up, get loose, stay flexible, mobile in your taper leading up to a race, but don't do it the day before because that could cause some problems. And make sure that you're getting a solid meal, solid dinner the night before, as well as you're eating throughout the day. One thing I always tell people is don't eat a huge dinner the night before a big race because if you eat at say 7, 8 p.m. and your race starts at 7 a.m., that's less than 12 hours. and you need to digest and you need to go to the bathroom in the morning before the race, or else that's going to come out at some point and probably while you're running. And so that's definitely not fun. And so I highly recommend eating more progressively, like at the beginning of the day, and then less and less as the day goes on. Like still having a solid dinner, but don't like have a huge pasta dinner the night before. Maybe do that 2 nights before, and then have a pasta dinner the night before, but don't eat just an exorbitant amount of food. So that's the thing with the banya. Now, the second thing is I love this Jesus is King shirt. And you would think by all the races I've done so far, I would have an athletic dry fit shirt by now, but I didn't. I didn't for this race. I actually got um, some here that I'm gonna get made. I got a package of some racing singlets, and a dry fit shirt that I'm gonna get. But what happened was throughout this race, man, my shirt got soaked and I was just drenched in sweat. And so it felt super heavy. And then also because of a wet shirt on your body, it's harder for your body to cool itself off. And so that can cause some problems. So, highly recommend wearing a dry fit shirt, something that's breathable, something that when you get wet, if you're dumping water on you, if you're sweating a bunch, it doesn't get super heavy. And yeah, would highly recommend that. And then the third thing that I learned really was just an added emphasis on fueling. Fueling is just so important before the run, during, and after too for recovery. And so, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't eat the night before, the day before. Um, and so what I think that led to is I had a solid amount of food. Like the morning of, I had a Morton 320 drink mix, which I have right here. Morton 320 drink mix. That's really good. Good stuff to have before runs and stuff. And Morton just makes some really good stuff that easy digestible and stuff like that. But yeah, so the drink mix is great. I had that. I had some dates. I really like eating whole food, so I had some dates. Those were good, but because I didn't have a solid base layer from the day before, I think that stuff kind of just went right through me. And then during the race, this is my big point. I was taking these Morton Gel 100s every 40 minutes, and that's 100 calories. And what I didn't even realize was, and this is just a stupid mistake I made, but I typically take these Spring Energy Gels by Awesome Sauce, or Awesome Sauce is the flavor by Spring Energy. I usually take these every 40 minutes. These are 180 calories, but I was really doing 100 calories every 40 minutes when I was used to 180. So I'm basically getting about half as much fuel, and I'm working really hard because I'm pushing paces that I typically don't push during an ultra. And so that just goes to show I'll be vulnerable there and just share, like I still make mistakes, I still mess up. And so don't feel bad if you make some mistakes. Like it's just gonna happen. And that's why we do these things. That's why we improve. That's why we debrief. That's why we mine the wisdom from the experience. And so the adjustment making going into Jersey City is I'm gonna switch over to the Morton Gel 160s. These have some more calories in, and I'll be taking those every 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to be getting more. I'm going to be getting them more often, and then I'm going to also have a little bit more calories. So those are the really three things I want to talk about. Number one, don't go to a Russian banya the day before because chances are it will dehydrate you, and also make sure you have a solid dinner. Not too big, but a solid dinner the day before around 5, 6 o'clock. So not super late. Have an earlier dinner, and then don't wear a cotton shirt, and then making sure you use proper fueling and enough fueling, because sometimes you're eating the right things, you're just not eating enough. And that's one of the two biggest mistakes that I see beginner runners make is they run too fast on a lot of their training runs, and then also they don't fuel enough. Like you need fuel, and if you can fuel your body, you'll go so far. So that's it. That's my recap from the Irving Marathon. I guess I should say my time, even though I wasn't like really using it as a race. I still did a PR, which was really cool. And because I guess my last marathon was in 2020, so it's been a while. My last marathon for time, I ran a 3:08:48, which is 7:12 pace, but I got the receipts to prove it. This is my medal from the race, which is cool. I hold on to these because it's fun to just have. And then two, um, I was walking past the awards table and found out that I won first place in my age bracket, so that was cool. But yeah, that was my race. That was my recap. If you have any questions, comment below. I'll see what I can do to get back to you guys. Really appreciate you watching this and hope it added some value into your life.